I'm Matt Estridge, and it's Fit Diesel Fact Friday. The next 4 weeks, I'm going to take you through a volume series. Jump volume, failure always, moderate to high volume, an effort, volume one time versus several times spread out throughout the week. Hopefully you have a light bulb effect. You'll understand what diminishing return is, what that feels like. I'll describe that, what it is, and the effect. Now, before we get into jump volume, it is imperative that I put a disclaimer out there of transparency. This topic was recently discussed by Jeff Nippard. There are a few items that I'm going to go through that Jeff didn't touch on. Original content is very important to us at Fit Diesel, Tier 1 Tactics, and the L.I.V.E Active Shooter Training Program. And really, there is no original content per se. It's all been discussed somewhere, but we bring our own experiences or our own knowledge or other scientific studies that maybe others aren't aware of that are out there to the table, or meta-analysis, and we bring our own niche to it. I lean on my collegiate strength coach experience at the University of Tennessee under the Fulmer era. I lean on my experience as a counterterrorism agent that was a full-time instructor, the fitness coordinator for hundreds of elite agents. I lean on my experience now of coaching professional athletes from many different sports, the general public as well, that have never been able to get in shape or were never able to keep the weight off. I'm going to bring my unique experience along with some other science about volume, along with some of the things that Jeff Nippard said about volume and went through. And the true reason I'm covering this is because I was absolutely surprised of some of the negativity that came from Jeff Nippard putting out a very good scientific video on volume, in the hope that you will be open-minded, always be a student, learn something new maybe, or something different, and your training will increase and be better for it. And you'll have a better understanding of kinesiology afterwards. Personally, I don't like even having to put disclaimers out there, but there are a lot of haters online, and that wouldn't have went well if I'd have presented this material and somebody said, well, he just presented that recently. Let's get to jump volume. If you think you're going to go in the gym and you're just going to do extremely high reps and you're going to build a ton of muscle and that's the way to do it, that is absolutely incorrect. First of all, you're not going to gain a lot of strength because that lower weight and high volume or excessive volume is not going to create the same strength response as a repetition such as 6s or 5s, even 2s, and also properly setting up that program per week and with a long-term view. Secondly, depending on what stage of your lifting career you're in, if you're a beginner, you're going to overtrain very quickly doing that. And I know this one's going to be counterintuitive to you. You actually want to get stronger and grow off the smallest amount of work because that gives you room, more ceiling to grow over time. When you overtrain, you don't gain as much strength or as much hypertrophy as you would if you left a couple reps in the tank. Now let me give you a couple examples. I've seen Division I college athletes in the summer absolutely work out twice a day, 6 and 7 days a week, even doing cardio. And these kids aren't eating enough as it is. It's difficult to get them to eat enough, to get the nutritionist to actually find what their total daily energy expenditure is, which they don't. Nutritionists really don't do that in college. They should. And then get those athletes to eat that much. They're overtraining. I've seen injury come from that. I've seen them actually get smaller, and I've seen their PRs actually decrease. I've seen it time and time again. Now, in federal law enforcement and in law enforcement in general, I've been through many academies, too many. I've seen the injuries that come from that boot camp type of training, extremely high volume. It's CrossFit on steroids. Your strength decreases, your weight obviously drops, and your weight drops in a bad way because you're not maintaining lean body mass. Because you're creating such a caloric deficit, it's way too deep of a deficit. Your protein is not high enough to even assist you because you're eating that food and they're trying to wear you down to make you mentally strong, so you're overtraining to the max. I've been through more than 2.5 years of boot camp type training combined. And some of these were very excessive because they were more elite organizations than others. So literally, I have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people overtrain, become injured, become less strong, size decrease. Lastly, I saw somebody put up a YouTube video that was spinning Jeff Nippard's science toward their bias. We all have biases. I try to limit mine to be very small because you don't have very much growth when you do that. You really don't, because you're not open-minded to do different things. I see it in law enforcement with CQB and firearms. I see it even with military as well, because they're so focused on just what they do, and that's the only way. I see it in sports, I see it in MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The more open-minded you are, the better chance you have to continually progress, because you're a continual student. So this guy took Jeff Nippard's science and orchestrated it into explaining CrossFit and why he's saying that's the same thing. I don't dislike CrossFit. Matter of fact, I have CrossFit athletes that I cannot share that come to me for programming and even nutrition, and then they supplement that with what they already want to do with CrossFit. The Rich Froning CrossFit, or the champions there, they train like athletes, and yes, they have endurance in there, but they're not training like the CrossFit gym everybody goes to. It's different. Rich Froning has an education in kinesiology. He was a strength coach, and he trains in Olympic lifting and trains for strength, and he also trains for endurance and other things that CrossFit did as well. But his fundamentals are from that arena. Don't think that he's not programming with science, because he is. If CrossFit volume was the same as bodybuilding volume, and I'm talking about natural athletes, natural bodybuilders, then you would see CrossFit athletes on the bodybuilding stage beating natural physique athletes now. It's not the same kind of approach and programming. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Next week, I won't have to do the whole disclaimer. I've already done it once. If you got value out of this, give us a like, subscribe to our social media. You can go to fitdieselstrength.com. We have our new dietary interface that coaches you to coach yourself. Phenomenal system. We'll be putting some ads out about that so everyone understands. If you want one-on-one coaching as well, we have some room on our roster. Have a great day. God bless.
Built from experience, backed by science.